Okay. Oops. For our presentation, we did HelloFresh in Singapore. For price, HelloFresh can cost anywhere from $69 per week up to $129, depending on the type of meal plan, amount of people being served. HelloFresh can also be priced depending on the number of plates ordered per week. Other competitors for comparison are Grain, that have a similar price range. YOLO Food is another more expensive competitor that costs anywhere from $100 to $220 weekly, depending on the type of dietary meal plan, duration, and added delivery and validity fees. Product usage. HelloFresh is a meal kit company that originated in Berlin, Germany. The popular, user-friendly, price-conscious meal prep company has since spread to America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and other Western European markets. HelloFresh provides a vast amount of meals to choose from on their website that can be delivered straight to your door. The box comes with all ingredients and instructions on the preparation that can save time for those who have a busy schedule. Their mission is to change the way people eat forever, and with their innovative and time-saving meals. Demographics. HelloFresh is primarily for Gen Z and millennials, as the brand stresses the affordability and timeliness of their meals. Gen Z and millennials are usually college students and 20 to 30-year-olds who have smaller disposable incomes and busier schedules, making HelloFresh a great opportunity to eat good meals at a fraction of the preparation time and price. HelloFresh can also cater to the Gen X population, which is primarily 40 to 50-year-olds. This generation is mostly parents who may have tight schedules with their children or work. HelloFresh provides meals that taste home-cooked, yet can be prepared in a smaller time frame than usual. It is perfect for the busy parent who, when they want to feed their family something other than takeout or leftovers. HelloFresh also targets those who are price conscious and care about their overall health and wellness. They provide dietary options and healthy options for various weight loss, carb cutting diets. Purchase point. The point of purchase for HelloFresh is not a specific location. Exchanges for HelloFresh transactions primarily take place online via their website, where prospects can sign up for a specific delivery plan, choose their meal, pay, and enter the destination to where the meal should be delivered. HelloFresh does the majority of their advertising online through social media as well, promoting, and social media is perfect for reaching their primary audiences. HelloFresh is also attractive in that they do most of their advertising in a productive way over social media channels with easy sign up and various promotions and coupons for the first time meal plan buyers.
So Singapore is a city-state located south of the Malay Peninsula in Southeast Asia, right above the equator. The island is about 280 square miles, so it makes it about half the size of Rhode Island.
The political climate of Singapore is that it is a republic based upon a parliamentary democracy. The current president is Halima Yacob, and the current prime minister is Lee Hsien Loong. There will not be a president election until 2023, and the prime minister will not be reelected until very soon in December and in April. The presidency is pretty much ceremonial, with the prime minister wielding the majority of the power in the government. Singapore happens to be a chairman of the Associated of Southeast Asian Nations and holds a significant amount of power over the region because of this. Singapore's legislature has been dominated by the moderate right People's Action Party since 1959. They hold an overwhelming majority of 80+%. There's several minor parties, but no one even comes close to ever challenging them. And then for the economic factors, the average income for Singapore in 2019 was 63,579, and its employment rate is relatively low at 2.2%. The economy is primarily based on finance and trade, with some growth in chemicals and electronics. It's a highly industrialized economy, with an industry accounting for over 25% of the GDP. This is not anywhere close to the services industry, which contributes over 70% of the GDP. as HelloFresh is considered a service, there's significant opportunities for growth and expansion in Singapore due to the economic conditions. The regulation of advertising and PR is the Singapore Code of Advertising Practices. It's a self-regulating organization that basically wants to keep everybody in line and keep everything legal and fair. The biggest difference between the US and Singapore is that the guidelines and the organizations in Singapore are way less concrete, and they're not very specific or enforced. So while everybody agrees, oh, let's be fair, generally there's a lot more room for unfair competition.
So some historical factors in Singapore. So in 1819, it was a trading post, or a trading post was established by the British East India Company. In 1867, it became known as a crown colony of the British Empire. And in 1869, the Suez Canal opened, and subsequently trade increased immensely. In 1922, it became a main British naval base. And in 1941, when the World War II was in full swing, it was bombed by Japan. That following year, so in 1946, they surrendered to Japan and were subsequently renamed Soyinnan, which means Light of the South. And then in 1945, they were recaptured, or when they were captured, they were freed from Japanese control and went back to British military administration. And then finally, in 1946, they were finally known as a separate crown colony. And then in 1971, the last of any British military forces withdrew. And in 2009, Singapore came out of its worst recession in history. And they continue to be the largest and busiest port in Southeast Asia. So population data, it has a population of 5.6 million and a resident population of 3.9 million. They have 21,646 people per square mile. The average household is 3.6, so basically 3 people. 54.2% have a college degree, and they have relatively small households with fewer and fewer people sharing the same dwelling. So with this information, it's safe to say that people live together as nuclear families and not extended families. And it increases in size by 0.5% yearly, and about half of the population are immigrants. So for the languages, there are 4 official languages in Singapore that are recognized, which are English, Mandarin, Chinese, Malay, and Tamil. However, English is the one that the majority use with administration, commerce, and industry. English is also the primary language used in schools. Malay is the country's national language, and it is used to communicate between ethnic groups. Chinese is a language that is used a lot in Singapore as it is extremely close to China, with 1/3 of schools or students in schools being taught in Chinese. So with religion, there are many different religions, but Buddhism is the most predominant, with 33.2% of its residents that follow it. There's also Christianity, Islam, Confucianism, and Taoism. So Buddhists practice mindful drinking, and that is good for us to know. And Singapore is known as conservative, so they have very strict local laws. So like overall in Buddhism, they don't have like many restrictions. For example, in Muslim countries, they don't really eat pork. So that's something that we can use to our advantage for HelloFresh.
So Singapore has a high power distance of 74. It also has a very high long-term orientation of 72, and they're more on the lower end when it comes to masculinity at 48, and their moderate indulgence level at 46, and they have a very uh, low uncertainty level at 8. So we think a specialized approach would work best with HelloFresh in Singapore because HelloFresh is also sold in countries like Germany, Canada, and New Zealand. These other countries are very similar, but Singapore differs in comparison. So we think a specialized approach would work best, and a universal appeal would work best because HelloFresh is a product that would allow customers to eat healthier. Since eating healthier is a lifestyle choice that can be related to among different cultures, we believe a universal appeal is the best way to approach HelloFresh in Singapore. Business in Singapore is all about the individuals, and the leaders are going to be the elders. Raising your voice or showing too much emotion is not acceptable. Negotiations are usually held at a slower pace than in Western society, so business agreements will take several trips over several different months. And the PR practices in Singapore range from press releases, media events, and media drops. And the major media in Singapore is mobile media, and 80% of it is spent on digital ads. We also believe that since Singapore is generally seen as a healthier country than Germany, Singapore citizens might question why they would want to eat food from a German company, but we do not believe there is any negative sentiment to address considering Germany and Singapore don't really have a real history together. So HelloFresh in Singapore would be the start of something successful between these two countries.
Strength. So HelloFresh has a really flexible delivery. They have easy to cook and fresh meals. They also include dinner and lunch options and also a variety of options for easier integration into the Singapore meal delivery market. They also provide customers with affordable prices for consumers, making this meal plan available to not only Singapore's more wealthy market, but also their middle and lower class markets as well. The food provided is also of high quality, which makes their food delivery service more reputable and trusted. They provide healthy, tasty, sustainable delivered food and have proven to be the most popular meal kit in the world, thus expanding to 14 total countries. This credibility will make HelloFresh's campaign more noticeable as they have already established a good reputation in various other regions. For weaknesses, introducing HelloFresh into a new market in a culturally different region for the first time will be an internal challenge the company will have to overcome. Research on preferred meals and cultural dimensions to enter the Singaporean market will need to be done in order to adequately and successfully release this campaign. Singapore is also geographically much smaller in size than other markets that HelloFresh is integrated into. Besides the small size, the population is huge, making HelloFresh have to accommodate a larger amount of consumers on a smaller scale. HelloFresh will also have to strategically plan this campaign in order to target a newly flourishing region that is under stricter leadership and cultural dimensions. Properly changing the menu and food options to meet Singapore's preferences will be an important implementation challenge for the company. Opportunities. This campaign in Singapore will broaden HelloFresh's market and easily introduce their brand to other markets in the Asian region. Singapore is a great first choice for HelloFresh to release their campaign due to the high GDP, technological advancements, and flourishing population of Gen Z and millennials. These opportunities in the new region will increase HelloFresh's revenue and potential market. Singapore also places high value on long-term orientation, meaning they prefer more practical and realistic businesses, which is exactly what HelloFresh embodies. Threats. Competing brands have already entered and integrated into Singapore's market, making the entry level higher than usual for meal delivery services. HelloFresh could also potentially increase prices due to economically strong market and lose consumers. Singapore scores high for uncertainty avoidance, and in a society that has many rules and regulations, this makes people from Singapore less likely to try new things, often avoiding brands they are uncertain about. HelloFresh might also have difficulty entering due to external threats of government regulations, rules, and various fines. Another potential threat is the competitors who may have already established themselves as trusted and reliable in the Singapore market may go up against HelloFresh. Competing with similar brands in such a rigid culture may be a threat to HelloFresh. Potential threats could also include newer restaurants in this flourishing market that could compete with a meal delivery service.
Because of the newly flourishing population of Gen Zs and millennials in Singapore, and due to HelloFresh's fast, fresh, and family household-oriented services, the target audience for their campaign will be millennial Singaporean families, specifically parents of those families. As for the goals of the campaign, the first thing HelloFresh will do is promote their expansion to Singapore and get their foot in the door of the market. Once Singaporeans are aware of this expansion, the second goal will be to raise brand awareness and put themselves forward as one of the best in the food delivery services. Lastly, the last goal is to target and build customer loyalty with Singaporean families. It's one thing to have them buy your product once, but it's another thing to have it happen consistently, and that's what one of the goals is, try and get loyalty.
So for our timeline, in January, we will announce HelloFresh's arrival. In March, we'll do a survey on awareness. February, we'll hire employees. March will be our grand opening. August, we'll do some more advertising. And then October, we'll look into possible expansion of the HelloFresh company. And then in December, we'll release a post survey of the campaign.
So for the anticipated budget, it's approximately $108,000 Singapore dollars in total. 54,000 of that's for producing TV commercials or TV content. That's just based on the average going rate plus production costs. About $24,000 for other digital advertisements. That includes ad placement through Google AdSense, Instagram, and Facebook. And then another $30,000 for celebrity involvement, because generally, depending on the status of the celebrity, $30,000 would be a conservative estimate.
For evaluation, the campaign will be evaluated through a post-survey and pre-survey to test the effectiveness of the campaigns that will be delivered via social media, radio, and television advertisements. The evaluation will also be based on brand awareness after HelloFresh establishes their food delivery services in Singapore, since their brand will be expanding on a global scale to a new international market for the first time in Asia. The pre-survey on evaluation will be released a year after HelloFresh's campaign release to gauge brand awareness, consumer tastes, and overall success of the company in this region. HelloFresh will also include surveys and feedback online after consumers receive their meals to determine opinion and experience with the brand. Stewardship. HelloFresh has taken many efforts to leave an environmentally friendly footprint. They have reduced waste to 66% less than average, reduced emissions to 71% less than average, and they use about 40 gallons of recycled materials for packaging and source about 97.5% of their products from certified farms. They also take care of their people and are part of the corporation. In 2019, HelloFresh had around 5,300 employees worldwide, 48% of them being female and representing over 77 different nationalities. HelloFresh places high value on sustainability, community relations, and creating a diverse environment. They also provide great working opportunities in various leadership positions internationally. HelloFresh also values the planet, pledging their promise of delivering groceries in a sustainable manner in comparison to ordinary grocery shopping. As a brand, HelloFresh takes a stand against reducing carbon emissions and food waste through their food delivery services. They also plan to improve packaging and implement cooling technology in the coming years.
As for the advertising side of the campaign, the main objective will be to raise brand awareness and loyalty in HelloFresh. The campaign will be specialized mostly due to the fact that we want to disseminate global advertising mishaps and allow for advertising messages to go directly to the target audience, the primary audience of which being millennial Singaporean families. The slogan of this campaign will be fresh, fast, full-course meals delivered right to your doorstep. The reason for this slogan is that we want to market the product as the highest quality brand of food delivery service for the price in this category. The mediums that we'll use for this campaign are TV, radio, and social media. This is because over 90% of adults in Singapore listen to radio consistently. The average Singaporean watches TV at least 5 times a week, and around 96% of Singapore's internet users have at least one active social media account, the most popular of which being Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So for this campaign, HelloFresh will use those mediums. As for the advertisements themselves, they'll be testimonial-based, family-oriented advertisements, ideally with the celebrity endorsement family to cushion the blow of going into a foreign market and to build a sense of trust within the community.
So the strategy we would like to implement is a celebrity endorsement video. We feel that this is the best way to garner the attention of our Singapore audience in order to make them see someone that they're familiar with. The celebrity ties into our tactic of social media because we would use a Singapore celebrity such as Rebecca Lim. She has over 300,000 followers on Instagram. This strategy would help us communicate to our Singapore audience that HelloFresh is a European company and we want to differentiate ourselves from the competition. But we still want to create a message that is aware of the differences in Singapore's cultural dimensions. We believe that using a familiar face such as Rebecca Lim would allow us for a more positive reaction, and the audience will also be able to relate to her as well. The social media we would use for our tactic is YouTube. We believe that using YouTube will be the best way for our strategy to reach a large audience. Using social media such as YouTube would support our strategy because we want HelloFresh to be known as a European company by the masses. So because 4.3 million people in Singapore use YouTube every day, using a celebrity endorsement video that includes a Singaporean celebrity and also informs the Singapore audience of HelloFresh's European origin, this will allow us to implement our strategy to the most people possible while also being well received by the audience.